My Hero Academia, the anime which blew both 2016 and 2017 away, only recently had its second season come to an end, and I think I speak for everybody when I say that we simply cannot wait for season 3 to be released. So today I thought I would be talking about my expectations for the third season of My Hero Academia. What I'll be bringing up in this video is how long season 3 is potentially going to be, what content it is going to cover before it comes to an end. I'll also talk about exactly where I believe it's going to end in the storyline. Lastly, I'll be talking about when we can expect season 3 to come around, because I have a few opinions on that alone. There will be minor spoilers in this video, such as the general theme of season 3, but I'm not going to be mentioning any specific plot points. Depending on your picking as spoilers, that should be enough information for you to know whether you want to continue watching this or not. Alright, let us get right into this video though, shall we? So My Hero Academia's third season, how long is it going to be exactly? Because season 1, which was more of an introduction to the story, had only 13 episodes, and when we finally got around to season 2, it jumped all the way up to 25 episodes, because at that point it was already well established that it was going to be doing really well due to the explosive popularity which season 1 actually had. Now, as I said, I want to talk about how long season 3 is going to be, and it is something that ties in a lot with something that I'll be talking about later in this video, which is when we can be expecting season 3 to return. I would be absolutely fine if Studio Bones decided that 13 episodes is all we're going to be getting for the next season, and that is because the content which it is covering works really well for both formats really. It could come at a halt after 13 episodes, and it would still be a season that absolutely blows away the audience, even more so than the previous seasons. However, much like everyone else, the more episodes the happier I'll be, so if it turns out that we're getting 25 episodes next season, that's obviously going to be something that pleases pretty much everyone, but there's always one thing to keep in mind: the anime has to maintain a gap with the manga if we want the series to come out every single year, which it potentially could. 25 episodes wouldn't necessarily be something that upsets this gap if the story is paced correctly, but there is always a risk that they want to push the story forward because of its crazy fandom. However, ultimately, I personally think that the next season will have 13 episodes, and the reason is that the two first arcs that season 3 will adapt ends at a point where I think it would be a perfect ending for season 3, as opposed to 25 episodes where the endings I could think of aren't really as great as the ending I could think of after 13 episodes. But I'll get to that later on in this video. So what is season 3 going to be covering? We can guarantee the first two arcs to be adapted into the anime, which is where I hope it ends, as I said a moment ago. The third season setting is much darker than season 2, and while I won't be mentioning any plot points, I think it's important to understand that the setting of season 3 is something that really allows us to learn more about the previously seen characters and also a bunch of new characters. We're really going to get some big insight on the main characters as well, through action mostly, so if you're a big fan of Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki and the others, you're in for a treat with these first two arcs. The second arc is what's really important in my opinion. Although it's just a mini arc, it is extremely important plot wise, and on top of that, it's like Christmas if you're into character development. It has so much going for it given how short that arc actually is. So I think it goes without saying that we're going to be seeing some villain activity going into season 3. I mean, it's already been greatly teased with these two new characters that we got introduced to, Toga and Dabi. And the final episode of season 2 does include Shigaraki, who's the main villain's character as far as the anime goes. Now what I can say is that while there will be villains, it's not necessarily going to be centered around the same theme as we had with the USJ arc, where the villains infiltrated the UA Academy. This is going to be completely different from anything that has been shown so far in the series, and I have high hopes for it in all honesty, because Studio Bones has shown very clearly with these first two seasons that it intends on following the source material very closely, even if it adds on a few small things, like we obviously had that one filler episode, and then we have a few tiny scenes that didn't really appear in the manga, like the flashback with Aizawa and President Mike. I'm pretty sure that's also exclusively anime. That is something that I truly admire about Studio Bones. They don't really stray from the original stuff, which some other studios tend to do at times. Like if you look at Fairy Tail being adapted by A1, They changed a couple of scenes entirely, which is something that I wouldn't want to see in My Hero Academia, and with Studio Bones I can assure you that is not going to be the case. They're following the original work of Kohei Horikoshi very nicely without much to complain about. The art style is good, the storyline isn't altered, and that is a theme I'm confident will persist throughout My Hero Academia's run in the anime industry. So just how will Season 3 be ending? What I mean by that is, are we going to be given a major dick tease like Season 1 dick teased Stain and Season 2 left us hanging with All for One? Because Season 4 is going to be the biggest hype in the series so far in my personal opinion, and there's one point where I can see Season 3 ending, with the new antagonist being shown, someone that is relevant even now in the manga, so it will be interesting to see where they decide to take it. Now, while that character isn't really that big of a deal unless Season 4 takes place after a 25 episode run of Season 3, he's still going to be a pretty intense character to tease with simply because of the kind of character that he is. Going back to if it's 13 episodes though, if that's the case, then what I can say is that Season 4 would open with a very harmless setting. It gives some breathing room after the villain activity that Season 3 is going to provide. And that's something I could see happening more than likely. Have Season 3 begin with something big, and then when we get around to Season 4, allow this story to develop a little with a build up towards the next big villain related part in the story. By doing that, we get a good balance of intensity and a reminder that they're still students. Because anime and manga are two different things. While you obviously read through and through in the manga, it could be good to know where to start the season and where to end it for the best possible result. It needs to create a lot of interest for viewers, but it also needs to let the viewers relax. If we have each arc just begin with a bang of villain activity, it would get rather repetitive, I think. It's better to go back and forth. What I'm trying to say is that ending Season 3 early may work in favor for everybody. Even if we may want to see 25 episodes, what you want is not always what's going to be the best result and the most rational decision. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is when we may be expecting Season 3 to be coming around. I've talked a lot about 13 or 25 episodes now, and now I want to go away from that to some extent at least, and instead dig into when we will see Midoriya and the others return to the TV screen or the computer screen, wherever you may watch your anime. Again, looking at Season 1 as well as Season 2, they both released within a year of each other, so Season 3 definitely has the potential to be coming out already in 2018. However, if it is going to be the case, then I don't see it happening any earlier than in the fall of 2018, because I personally feel as if the summer season is still too early, but at the same time, it doesn't mean it can't happen. One thing that I want to go into is of course that even though the studio can pull it off, that doesn't necessarily mean that Season 3 is going to come out next year, because we have to remember that there are a lot of series in Japan that are being adapted every year, and there needs to be room for each series, so if it's full when My Hero Academia asks for an adaptation, they're not simply going to rudely move one series just so that My Hero Academia can get its green light. But if we do assume that there is room next year, potentially the fall season as I suspect, then the odds of having the season come out already in 2018 is very high, given how popular it is, and I'm pretty damn sure it sells really good in Japan especially. So as a conclusion, I think what's more likely is that we are going to be getting 13 episodes of Season 3 in 2018's fall season, because it's just that popular, but we still need that really good season ending. Well, anyway, with that, I'll be ending this video, so comment down below with your thoughts about Season 3 of My Hero Academia, and please don't drop any spoilers, because we may have a bunch of people who are not familiar with the manga. And as always, if you did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new and wish to see more My Hero Academia content, such as discussions and other topics. This has been your favorite host, Perm, and I'll see you next time.